The next country that I want to talk about is Gabon. I don't know how many of you have heard about Gabon. Gabon is on the western coast of Africa. It is, I mean, towards the northern part of Africa, but on the western side of the continent. And Gabon again is having a GDP per capita higher than India. Gabon is a country which has natural resources in abundance, in terms of it is very sparsely populated and it has immense potential. It has natural resources, it has again oil deposits, petroleum deposits, and it is already trading with the Gabon's largest trading partners are the EU, the United States. China has a lot of investments in Gabon. So, and India's trade with Gabon is very minuscule at this moment. So India can think of importing oil from Gabon, but India can actually, for that matter, Gabon has recently had established a special economic zone, a free trade zone close to its capital Libreville, and that economic zone is something, initially it was more for timber and these products, wood products, but now it is also expanded or extended to other industries as well. So initially India can think of setting up establishments in that special economic zone and gradually quickly move into a trade deal with Gabon. Even though it's a French speaking country, but India should take heart from the fact that if China can establish its presence very comfortably in Gabon, which is a French speaking country, India can definitely do much better in terms of ease of language I am talking about. In terms of India's priorities are different from China. India doesn't want to merely exploit natural resources of any country, trading partner, the way probably China, it has been alleged by so many different groups against China that, these are allegations. I don't know how far they are true, but generally allegations are there that China has only exploited the natural resources to its benefit while of its trading partner, whereas India's approach has been to develop skills in the country and actually make the population of that country self-reliant. So when we are talking about Gabon, when we are talking about Botswana, we can India should think of developing their educational institutions, skill development, and the telecommunication network. All of these can really help build that kind of a trust of the Gabonese people and the Gabonese government about India, the government of India, as well as the Indian businesses. So I think this should be the approach, and quickly India should get into a trade deal with Gabon. So on the north there is Algeria, south you have Botswana, and west you have Gabon. Then India should look at Mauritius. India has of course had good relations with Mauritius, and there are quite a few companies which have been incorporated in Mauritius and which have reinvested the funds into India. So this was called round tripping, and India has addressed that issue by way of tax treaty provisions. Mauritius, for that matter, has had tax treaties with more than 50 odd countries. Mauritius is one of the best countries to do business as far as the World Bank's doing business rankings is concerned. I think it is ranked 18th or 20th in the last doing business report of the World Bank. And Mauritius typically is very well known for incorporation of entities and investing entities, and in that sense Mauritius can be the country where you can incorporate companies for investments in the African continent, and I am going to talk about it more when I am going to talk about the African Continental Free Trade Area agreement and the trade deal that India should negotiate. But Mauritius is an important country for trading as far as India is concerned. And Mauritius is not just about incorporation of companies and investment companies, holding companies. Mauritius now is very serious about having companies which can provide information technology services to the world, provide telecommunication related support services to different countries in Africa and outside of Africa, and some agricultural machinery or probably engineering goods. Mauritius is also kind of trying to create environment in its, not just Port Louis, its capital, but other cities as well, so that businesses can look forward to making investments there, serious investments, and not just paper based companies, so companies on paper. So things have changed in the past 10 years in terms of the kind of economic activity in Mauritius, and the Indian government should also quickly take a note of this and move fast to negotiate a trade deal with Mauritius. Not that India doesn't have a great relationship, it has a great relationship with Mauritius, but a trade deal can work wonders for the both the trading partners, and so it should move very fast. Apart from Mauritius, the last country that I have thought of is Rwanda. Rwanda is the only country in my list of 5 countries which is having a per capita GDP less than India's. Rwanda's GDP is less than $1,000 GDP per capita. It's some $850 or something, whereas India's GDP is roughly around $2,300. So, but Rwanda is the fastest developing economy amongst the least developed countries in Africa. Rwanda's economic climate is really conducive to business and investments. Rwanda also happens to be ranking at the top amongst African countries in terms of a corruption-free regime, which is also very important when you do business in a new country. And in that sense, and Rwanda has of late liberalized the regime in terms of granting permits for engineering, construction, and setting up of businesses. So with these kind of changes which have happened in Rwanda, the Indian business fraternity should take note of it and quickly move fast and get into trade deals with the country, with the industry there, set up businesses, and quickly, and Rwanda is almost, although it is a landlocked country, Rwanda is closer to Tanzania and Uganda and Kenya. So these are on its eastern border. So in that sense, although it is landlocked, there are enough ports that are accessible to Rwanda in terms of trade of merchandise is concerned, and obviously with the kind of skill development that India can do in Rwanda, it will not be that day will not be far away when India can set up even information technology related establishments in Kigali or other cities of Rwanda. So these are the 5 countries that I have thought of as far as India's priority for trading with Africa are concerned. But all this is a short-term arrangement. The long-term is, of course, negotiating a trade deal with the African Continental Free Trade Area Trade Bloc, AFCFTA, AFCFTA as they call it. So with AFCFTA now in the picture and very much existing, very much a reality, India should quickly negotiate a trade deal with CFTA, and I mean uh, the entire canvas is waiting to be painted. So India can negotiate its terms with the trade bloc to its, I mean, the way it wants, or probably as much favorable as possible, with the kind of investments that India is willing to make in the trade bloc or in the continent. So, I mean, the continental free trade area is something which is giving so much of leverage to India in terms of, see, today what is the biggest challenge when you have to do business in Africa? Biggest challenge is no longer conflict. Although people apprehend that there is always conflict happening, armed conflict in some or the other African country, but that conflict has been almost eliminated across most of the countries and regions in Africa. There is still some conflict in some parts of Africa, but largely now Africa is conflict free. So conflict is not the challenge anymore in Africa. The real challenge is logistics and transportation. So to surmount this challenge, Indian logistics companies and logistics operators can have a free rein for developing, and before that the contractors who can execute road projects, who are executing road projects here in India, can also think of developing road infrastructure, port infrastructure, power plants. All of this can be developed with the help of negotiating this trade deal with AFCFTA, with the African Union, if I may put it that way. So once you have a trade deal with the African Union countries, all 55 countries, you can then quickly start getting into development mode. You can partner for development of roads, you can partner for development of power plants, you can partner for the electrification and telecommunication network, educational projects, skill development projects, and of course industry. So, I mean, and at this moment, investments, repatriation of funds, taxation of your profits, these are all things which are still open, yet to be negotiated within the trade bloc. So when these things are open, it is better that India tries to close in on a trade deal with the African Union and negotiate it to the advantage of Indian businesses, so that they can look forward to a lesser tax regime and a very easy repatriation regime in Africa if they have to invest. So that is where I believe we need to move fast, and that is where the African continental free trade area is going to be watershed for Indian businesses. Another point I want to make is that it is not just businesses who are expected to just simply put their money and take all the risk on them. They will also want some kind of investment coming in from the government of India. They would want the government to be a partner in their investments in the continent. And I think the best way for the government to partner with the Indian trade fraternity in Africa is by actually incorporating a sovereign wealth fund and dedicated to the African continent development, or dedicated to trading in Africa. And this wealth fund should have a very diligent fund manager or a house which manages this fund effectively, so that they can make equity investments, they can have investments by way of equity instruments in foreign currency in the businesses owned by Indian entrepreneurs in the African continent. And that is how the wealth fund will also grow, will make profits, and that is how India's currency also will strengthen. the rupee will strengthen in the market, and once the rupee strengthens, I believe many, many of the problems which are ailing the economy currently will get resolved. So I think a sovereign wealth fund has to be created, especially for investments in Africa by India. Today we have a sovereign wealth fund called NIIF, and in fact it is managing about $2 billion worth of funds. But the focus is not investments. Focus of that fund is not investments outside of the country. Focus is infrastructure development within the country, or probably it is more in terms of strategic development or strategic investments. So that is why either you carve out a fund from the current NIIF and invest into Africa, or create a new sovereign wealth fund for African continent, business or trading in African continent, and invest by way of equity instruments in foreign currency. That is what government should have as a priority. That will really build the confidence of Indian investors and businesses when they are wanting to invest in Africa, that the Indian government is also a partner in their investments. And once businesses start making profits, it is the government also, the fund also is going to make profits, and eventually, it is going to. This is the solution. At the beginning of my presentation, I was talking about. This is what is going to be really helpful for the government eventually. So I believe, this is something that should be seriously considered. Now someone may ask me, someone may raise this doubt whether what will happen to the Make in India program that the government has so much passionately publicized and probably has implemented in the country. The Make in India program will run parallel, will coexist with the priorities of Indian government as far as investments in Africa is concerned, because as we all know, India has moved way ahead in the curve as far as value-driven merchandise, value-driven services are concerned. So in that sense, it is not that India is now anymore at the lower part of the curve in terms of manufacturing goods which are labor intensive. So in that sense, now for high-end product, obviously India employs innovation and advanced technology. So goods and services which do not need that kind of a technological investment can always be produced in Africa to begin with, and gradually even Africa will develop with the kind of more and more investments in technology and R&D that Indian businesses are going to make. So initially that kind of an industry can move to Africa, while India continues its focus more on sustainable development and renewable energy related businesses. So, and of course services, as far as services is concerned, India's focus now on all new age technology, I think, is going to really fetch very good returns as far as India is concerned. I am talking about businesses in India. But as far as Africa is concerned, there are many industries which are really finding it difficult, which are struggling in terms of finding cheap labor, in terms of finding resources, sourcing raw materials. So like for example, pharma and textiles, and there are other industries as well in terms of chemicals. All these industries can have a very good setup or an establishment in Africa and African countries. and the African government will also ensure that all this is done in a very sustainable way and not something which typically kind of is harmful for their ecology. So, I mean, so in that sense, this is not going to be in conflict with India's Make in India program. And it is also going to subserve the objectives of Indo-African Summit, the vision that the leaders of both the trade blocs had envisaged in 2015. So I think probably this is something which needs to be now, I think the action needs to happen now on the ground more than just putting all these things on paper. And I think India's approach so far has been very encompassing and not really in conflict with their developmental agenda as far as the African Union is concerned. So Indian businesses and the Indian government's initiatives, I am very sure the African continent and the African people are going to welcome with open arms. And it's now up to Indian businesses and up to the Indian government to move quickly and not really wait for the pandemic's pain to settle down. We should move fast with our trade negotiations, with our investments, so that by the time this pandemic settles down, we are up and running and we move very quickly in all these countries where we want to set up the establishments. So I believe in the past 1 hour or so, whatever I have discussed, I believe it will be really something which the government, the policy makers, the businesses, the entrepreneurs, the student community, the academics, the researchers, they all find this useful. Of course, you need to work out the modalities, you need to do a more deeper study, but I believe these thoughts are something which will help all of you who have been watching this. Really, this is helpful, and it is helpful in moving ahead in a very positive way. And in spite of the pandemic, I believe we have a very bright future, and of course that future lies in Africa, my friends. Thank you.